From old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman. 12 episodes, action, adventure, fantasy, and a light novel adaptation. Now, before I start the review, I just want to say that luckily I decided to do a little bit of research on this anime because if not, I would have completely embarrassed myself on this video because I read the manga, I would say 2 to 3 months before the anime came out. So I really love the manga, great character development, great story, great action, everything. So when I started watching the anime, in the first 2 to 3 episodes, I have zero problem with it. But when it comes to the first episode and onwards, I thought I started to see discrepancies between the manga and the anime because I thought that this was going to be one of those good anime bad adaptation type of things that I have said in the past in previous videos because the manga did it so much better. But I saw that this is a light novel adaptation, so I thought, okay, maybe the way the story is told in the light novel and the manga is different. So I did I did read the light novel, not the entire thing because that would have taken a lot of time. But I did read a good chunk of it to be well informed. And yes, the way that you see the way that is shown in the anime is the way is told in the light novel. So it's the manga that is taking the liberty to change stuff, but it does change it for the better because out of the three mediums between the light novel, the anime, and the manga, I think that at least from my personal experience, the manga is the better experience to from to for the story, at least for me. But I know that not everybody, many people stick to being anime only. So hey, I'm not knocking it. Even though that the manga I still think is the superior version, the anime is still very good and I still very recommended. So that's just my personal personal, let's say, prequel for my this story for this review. Now let's start with the review proper, and let's start with the our main character Beryl. Our main character Beryl being always being in the countryside, never leaving home. He always spend his time training the next generation, let's say. Throughout the years, many students comes and goes, but he stays. But luckily, one of his former students pretty much comes knocking and recruiting him by the order of the king, so he could not refuse. That he was recruited to be an instructor for the Order of the Knights, and he was very reluctant, but because of the king's order he had to go. And not only the king but even his own father pretty much kicked him out of the house, saying, hey, don't return until you give me a grandchild. Because he the because Beryl, sadly, his love life is pretty much in zero. No babes in the countryside, sadly, no country baby. So he went to the royal capital, where yes, he not only he started his instruction role, but in the process he meets a lot of his former students. Many of them taking different roles, some of them being adventurers, some being in the same knight's order, some of them becoming being part of the magical division. And not only that, even one of his former students, that he's a grown ass man, being a blacksmith. So yes, there's a lot of colorful characters throughout the anime. And not only that, let me just say that the action, the swordsmanship in this anime, from not only the main character from but throughout many other characters that all have their own unique fighting style, was very well done, especially with the main character Beryl. Because I'm not an expert, but watching other YouTube videos talking about the swordsmanship, and how those techniques are real world techniques that were used in the past, and it was animated very well, and even and well, not perfectly but very well in when it's used in combat, and the way it's shown in anime. So yes, the action, the swordsmanship that is was very well done. Not only that, something that I have to mention is that in the last two episodes, 11 and 12, there is, I have to say, there is 3D models, because it gets very heavy in the action and a lot of hand movement coordinations, trying to replicate as closely as possible the real life swordsmanship that was done in real life in the past. So in order to do it as realistic as possible, they did resort to using 3D models, but those 3D models were done very well, not only with the movement, with the visually how they look. The only is, yeah, honestly, like I said in previous video, look, I have to say, I have noticed that not every studio, sadly, but when it comes to 3D models, when it comes to characters, it is getting, throughout the anime industry, is getting better. Yes, there's still a couple of studios that still need to, there's still a couple of studios that still needs to work hard and improving the 3D models, not only visually but the movement and everything. But the animation industry as a whole is improving now. Still, the 2D animation is still far superior. But when you have no option but to do 3D models, because it would take, because there's just too much movement, and it will be harder for to the animators to animate all that in 2D, and you have no option but to do 3D models. So hey, at least it's improving, is what I'm trying to say. It's not as bad as it was a couple of years ago, because I have seen a lot of awful 3D models in anime that are just horrendous. I mean, the anime from a couple of years back, Tesla. Woo, the 3D models in the anime was, I dropped that anime as soon as the first episode was over. It got me a couple of laughs, but it was still too awful. I drop it now. As stopping with the action, when it comes to character development, yes, there's many characters that do have a couple character development. Some of the students, let's say one of the students that is very has a lot of physical strength, Kuruni, she does have a little bit of character growth, but not with her personality. It's most with her fighting style, because even though she has a lot of strength, she only used a typical sword, and she noticed that she is struggling fighting with other knights when it comes to training, and she hit a wall when it comes to improving herself in her swordsmanship. But luckily, with the help of Master Barrel, she does grow a little bit, got a new weapon, realized that yes, this fits me more perfectly, and she was able to break that wall and become stronger. Not only that, we have other two. Well, let's say two characters more, Alucia and Surena, who, yes, Alucia being the one that scouted Beryl to be the knight instructor, and Surena, who also one of his previous students that became an adventurer. When it comes to character development between those two, it wasn't much. It was mostly more of getting to know them better throughout the episode and through flashbacks, seeing how they tick, and you do get interesting in the both of them with, and like I said, different fighting style, different journey and everything, but still those two characters were very well done and very well written. But let's talk about now our main character, Barrel, because Barrel, look, he is a character that really needs character growth. Because yes, I know that he never left the countryside, he doesn't have any personal achievements, so he's very negative to himself. But man, does it get annoying after a couple of episodes. It always making excuses. Oh, it's not me that is great. It's my student that did all the heavy lifting. She's the great one, and it's yes, it got a little bit annoying by the tail end of the first season, because he has already done a lot of good achievements ever since he became an instructor, stopping the order of the church from doing some illegal stuff. Some of the church members capturing a horse that is very smart for a horse, and presented it to the royal family, protecting a princess, defeating a S rank monster, and a name monster, and everything. So he, ever since he became an instructor, he have done a lot of achievements throughout ever since then, but he still put himself down in every turn. And yes, like I said, it got a little bit annoying by the end episode of the first season, episode 12. So I know that I think that the when the second season comes over, I really wish that he finally realized that, hey, I I maybe I maybe have to stop putting myself to so down, and realize that I have done achievements, and I can be more proud of myself and onwards. So yes, I really wish that in the second season he had that type of character growth, because being very let's say running formula that repeats itself in every other couple of episodes, it got annoying for me, at least. For so let's see, I will talk about the action, the characters, the story. So I think that I'm going to end it here. So I am going to give this one an 8, an 8 out of 10. Now, yes, even though that I still think that the manga is the superior medium to experience this story and these characters, but that doesn't mean that the anime wasn't done very well. Like I said, the characters, the action, the telling, done very well. So I am very happy, and when once it comes a second season, I will be more than happy to do a review for that one also. So I'm going to end it here. So have a good day, have a good night, wherever you're from. See you next video.